All right, so willow wreaths are very different than our grapevine wreaths in a sense that they are very tightly wound. Okay, so we don't have as much flexibility. It's really not one we would want to be cutting off pieces of unless we really needed to. And it's also one that doesn't need to be cleaned. So again, this is an 18-inch willow wreath. And so because we're working on such shallow kind of land, what we're going to be doing is a lot of gluing just on top. So we're going to be using our glue gun a lot. And we'll be using our glue pot a little, but this is mostly going to be a glue gun kind of thing. All right, so I'm going to zoom you in. So we're going to start off with the star of our show, which is this Echeveria succulent. And so there is one imperfection on this willow wreath, which is right here. So I'm going to cover this. So I'm going to take my Echeveria and I'm going to slide it in as much as I can. Okay, and I want it tilted a little bit towards the inside. And make sure it's going under a few of the branches. And then I'm going to take my glue gun, bring you close to me, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this right in like that. This is going to be our method for a lot of this. All right, now we're going to go in with some eucalyptus leaves. So our succulent is definitely blue based, so we want to stay with the blue based family. And so these silver dollar eucalyptus, they are just a perfect match. So I'm just going to cut up a few of these. And this is going to lay our groundwork. Okay, so for our greenery, we can use our glue pot. So what I'm going to start to do is build this up over our succulent and down under it. I'm not going to cover the whole half like a crescent wreath because the base, again, is so beautiful. I don't really want to take away from it. We're not trying to hide anything. We really want to actually show it off because it's just a very special piece. So we want to do everything in a balanced fashion. So we're going to come above and we're sliding right in, okay, because there is no going through this like a grapevine. And I don't want to get any glue on the succulent because sometimes it pulls the surface off and it's really not repairable. At least I haven't been able to figure it out yet, so I just avoid it at all costs. All right, so right now I've put 3 pieces in to the top. Now I'm going to repeat and go down below. So let me take 3 more pieces. And so how I'm positioning these is one going a little bit more towards the outside, one a little more inside, outside again, sorry. And then one that's going to go down the middle and it's going to extend a little bit further. So this is what we are currently looking at. And we do want the Echeveria to kind of sit in that bottom corner. So we just want to kind of keep that in mind when we're looking at this piece overall, is that, and actually we don't really want to build much beyond this because we don't want to cover up the base. Okay, so we've done our first layer of greenery. And let's go in. With some lamb's ear. Everyone loves lamb's ear, and it pairs very, very nicely with eucalyptus and other blue-based greens. So this is really mostly scraps from my last design, but really you don't need a lot. This is, for me anyways, a very minimalistic design. Okay, so again, we're going to start up above. Let me cut this down. We're using really small pieces. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of lamb's ear and put it a little bit closer to our succulent. All right, so this is really how I want this to be positioned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more height up here. And I know I normally start off with putting a hook on. There really isn't going to be anything to hide the hook, so for this I'm not gonna put one on. And you certainly could make like a small one in the back, but I'm just gonna skip that altogether. And just make sure my listing doesn't reflect that there is a loop for hanging. All right, here we go. Let's see, what next? So now we are going to go in with some florals. And I want to keep this almost on the neutral side, but then I did want to add just a little pop of color. So what I'm going to be using are these two sprays. These are from TCT Crafts, okay, and I'm going to pull these apart. So on this spray we have a little bit of hydrangea bloom, we have these little twigs that have all this movement, and then we have two different kinds of greenery. So we actually have blue-based greenery, which is like this sage, and then we also have this yellow-based greenery, which is kind of like a boxwood. Okay, so this is an example of, you know, we don't have to stick to these rules hard and fast. So if we see that something looks like it goes together, or we get, you know, material that has already paired them together, then if you like it that way, then by all means mix away. Sometimes when you're breaking rules, it means you're doing something no one else has done. And then also, when you have things that are wrapped in paper like this, it's typically pretty easy to just pull it apart right off that main stem. All right, now to make this nice and balanced, let's see, we have two, so let's prep both. And yes, when I started off, this was one of my first big multiples, except I used to have these really nice willow bases that were just gray, and I love them. And I think Michael still sells them, but now, I mean, I feel like they're $30 when they used to be 15 or something way more reasonable. So, you know, you need to have a client that recognizes how expensive they are. I will say I got these at Pioneer for a very good price. I can figure it out, but I think it was maybe $6 or $7. So I got it in 18-inch, and then I also got it in the 14-inch. The quality is great, and again, the pricing, I was like shocked. I don't know if it's like a super sale or if they always have it. I'm not usually in their wreath base section on their website, so I was pleasantly surprised. All right, so right now I'm just separating our materials. And we are going to start with our hydrangea. So going above first. Take my first hydrangea and slide it in. And if it's something that has a weak stem, like this wiring is not that thick because it was not meant to be thick. It was meant to be a part of that spray. So if you do it and it bends, you know, I would just take it out and either just kind of flip up the bottom to make it a little thicker, and then just choose a little bit more carefully to make sure that there's a good gap for it. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, this time she's secured it in. Now we're gonna repeat. Okay, I'm just going to fold this in half. Not in half, I'm just going to fold it up a little bit. And I'm going to take my flower stem and dip it in the glue pot. Okay, so right now we have it looking pretty mirrored. And then there are two smaller pieces. Zoom out a little bit. All right, and for the smaller pieces, again, I'm just going to take that stem. I'm just going to fold it in half a little bit, fold it up, so that I have a thicker stem to work with. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here. Yes, this is like a game of chess when we're working with these, because they are just so tightly woven, and that's what makes them so beautiful. But as far as adding to them, it can be a bit of a challenge. So you can see for the hydrangea, it came with one large bloom and one small bloom. So I also want to be just strategic in making sure that I'm spreading them out the same way. This is what I don't enjoy doing on my easel as much, just because I like it flat so that I can really get things in. Add a piece of greenery just to even this out a little bit. Okay, so now we are working with this. And what you could do is, if you wanted to make a loop just so you don't forget where your North Star is, because I will say, working on a flat surface, that certainly can happen. So let me just find something that I can wrap this up with. Okay. I'm just taking a step back and put this right here. This is really just for my own purposes. Okay, so that's my marker. And this is the top of the wreath. I'm going to take that out when I'm done. All right, so now let's go in with some texture. We have a lot of beautiful pieces that came in the sprays, so we can start with that and use the pieces that we don't want, and then if there are elements that we do, we're going to go in with these sage, with these little, I don't know if they're supposed to be seeds or berries, but these all go very, very well. And I'm going to put the other items aside for now. I'm definitely not going to discard them. These are really, really great quality, especially these twigs. I love them. So I'm just going to put them aside. And now I'm going to add my texture. So I want something that's always a visual interest at the end. So I'm going to be using this sage leaf. Okay, so we're going to put one up top. And then you guessed it, we're going to put one down bottom. And we just need to straighten out the wire so that we can slide that right in between our willow branches. And I would love to know how these are made, because I think this is one of those things where the branches need to be steamed. You'd think I would take a moment to just Google about wreath making, because I'm always curious. All right. All right, now sometimes as we're working, we just realize that we've gone too far with something. I did not want half of this covered up, but I kind of went in after the fact and added some eucalyptus. So right now I'm just pulling that apart because I want it to be a little bit lopsided as far as how it hangs. This is why it's good to take a step back from our work and just see, is it going the way we wanted it to go? Because if not, you want to rate that ship before it's too hard to get things out from their glue and their position and you know, interfering with the way other things are. Now let's go in with some of our trailing greenery, and I think I only had 2 pieces of this. There's a second one. Okay, we only had the one. That's okay, we can cut this up. So what I love about this greenery is that it's yellow based on the back, but then on the front, it's got like a gray frosted look. So this can go with either family. It's like if the family's married. All right. Let's put this, creating that textural interest, making sure it's sliding into something. Although we could just go and make sure that everything is glued, I think the best way is to make sure that the branches are holding it in addition to the glue. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with these little berries, seeds. It's nice to have a minimum of 3 types of greenery, or you can substitute that with texture, but I like having the 3 different greenery. So right now we have our eucalyptus, our lamb's ear, this is cottonwood, and sage. So we have checked off that box. We have plenty of different styles of greenery. Cleaning off above. Put one in. If we do it on the top, we're going to repeat it on the bottom. Trying to keep the spacing pretty similar. Now we're going to move up a bit. Again, I'm making sure I'm not running this glue across that succulent because I know it's not going to end well for me. And you can give this a little bend so it's going right along with the curve of your wreath. One piece here. Where's the other? Here we go. Going up top. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3. Now down below, we've got 1. This will be 2. And 3. Okay, so if we're trying to call out where the need areas are, we definitely need to fill in around our succulent. We're lacking here, and then through here we can see the base. If we wanted to do something intentionally where you could see the base like through, that would also be cool if you just had, you know, something that's more of like a vine. But for this, I did want that part to be covered up. So I'm gonna go in with these white florals, and oh my gosh, I ask you guys all the time what they're called because these are used in corsages. Usually put the pearls in. Stepha somethings. Fill in the blank. As long as it's not that other one that I never can say. All right, I'm going to start at the top. I have this pretty close to the succulent, and what I like about these too is that they have a lot of greenery on them, and the greenery goes so well. It actually matches the succulent perfectly. How did she lose her clippers? There we go. I just want to make sure it's not covering up our succulent. Now let's bounce back up top. Here. Then we're going to go below and just repeat. And then we're going to put, this is going to be a little bit uneven, which is okay because our top part is more full than the bottom. So I'm going to put in a third. I do have more, but I think this is going to look better like this. We shall see. And now let's go back and fill in some of those gaps. Okay, I found a little bit more lamb's ear, so we'll use this. And then we're going to use our eucalyptus. So starting off under, and bend this back so I'm not covering up any of the succulent. And I'm just giving this a bend so it's following the curve of our base. All right, let's put some more up here. All right, then we also have this beaded succulent. It does not have a very big stem. So we're gonna have to make sure it's really like wedged in between our willow branches. All right, so I'm gonna find the spot and now I'm gonna glue. For some of these pieces that are bulkier and they don't just slide right in, you want to make sure you just give it a lot of glue. Okay, and then repeat. That's even. Really good spot. Then we are going to glue. All right, with switching to this, I just feel like the angle is not very helpful. So I grabbed a little bit more greenery in my travels. So now at this angle, I can see there's a bunch of areas that are exposed. So again, it's about perspective, taking a step back. Also, sometimes when you're feeling stuck or frustrated, it's just good to kind of walk away, you know, get some fresh air, have some iced tea, just, you know, get a little break from that frustrated feeling, because I know for me when I'm feeling frustrated, I get real stuck real quick. And then things take way longer than they should. I'm going to go in with a little bit of land here. Ooh, that was the first. It's always that corner I can't see. As I'm going, I'm just looking to see where we need some balancing. I thought these would be pretty. And I was right. Yay. I don't know where I got these, but I have been hoarding these. Like, I've just had this one stem and I've just not used it. Nothing was worthy of them, and here we are now. They're succulent wreath, and it is their time to shine. Setting apart our materials. I don't want to cover up our florals. I want to make sure that this is going to get the attention it deserves. Again, she's been waiting a while to surface. I'm just repositioning things a little bit. Taking some scraps of that cottonwood and cottonwood bush. Let's do the same. Up here. We're going to keep our stems really, really short. Okay, you can see how short that is. It's, I don't know, it's maybe an inch. We don't need to push it through. It's just going, sliding in, not going through. All right, then I grabbed one more greenery that I really like. This is my tried and true greenery from Michaels. Yeah, you have like your staples. This is my staples from Michaels, and it is some type of fern, and it works wonderfully on willow wreaths, but just in general, it's just great to have that crawling movement. I get these by the Pro Box just because in the stores they tend to be damaged. You know, they kind of all get jammed into a bucket. And so then when they get unjammed, there's just pieces left behind. Just kind of breaking this down. Hello, Bernadette. How are you? Have you come to make a wreath with me? Probably not. All right, so I'm going to start up top and have this be trailing down. Okay, do I like that? I'm going to repeat down below, so I'm going to give it a little curve. Actually, you can see there's a front and a back side to this, so let me just flip this guy around. Bernie loves to jump on this couch, all of our couches, and she loves to, well, she stopped because she knows I'm talking about her, but she loves to take all the cushions, smush them around, take the blanket and get it exactly how she wants it. So they are always needing to be remade. And she's not sorry about it. Let's see, this piece is too big. This is just not cooperating. Let me cut this down a little bit more. Use this down below. Just wants to go in a different direction than I want it to go, so I'll stop fighting it. It wins. And let's just use a very small piece up top. Alright, so I want it to stand out, but I don't want it to like totally take over. That I like. Alright, so now let's go and disperse these throughout our design. We'll start with the main focal point, a succulent. Nice little areas and play with this guy. All right, we're so close to finishing. I was going to scrap it, and I'm like, no, let's just see it through. See it through from all the angles. All right, so we have her up on an easel, and I just want to balance a few things out and just add in more of this fern. You really can use like just the tiniest scraps since the stems are going to be so short. So things that maybe I would normally toss away are going to fit in just fine. These. I'm going to create a little bit of a halo with these so they're going all around. Hello, Steve. Hi. Call Steve FBI Steve because he has to know everything that's going on. He's a very nosy, a concerned citizen. He likes to also ruffle up all the pillows. A little bit of eucalyptus at the top is going to be what we need. Thin that out a little bit. Yeah, okay. It's lacking a little bit of fullness. Last little guy. But this is our succulent wreath made on a willow base. Okay, we have some berries. We have a couple of just little touches of florals. But the star of the show is our main succulent. It's just hanging out down here. And to finish it, what I'm going to do is just to ensure that everything is fully secured, I'm going to go back with my glue gun, and I'm just going to lift up our florals and start adding glue to the base. Okay, and you can just kind of go around and do it. And that way, in case something didn't slide in as much as you had hoped it, thought it did, do it that way. And you can just go from the inside out, and then you can also just go around from the outside in. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to do our Krylon UV spray, and then she should be good to go. So thank you guys for your patience. I hope no one needed Dramamine for this. Learning new camera, if you think about how bad it was when I started, I have made progress. So, all right, guys, here it is. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.